Are the interest rates really crashing our real estate market? Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video, so stay tuned.
Live behind decisions I chose. Peaks feel good and the valleys get low. Chains for the tires in the rain, hail, snow. It's like this everywhere that I go, everywhere that I go.
Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker. We're in July, mid-July 2023, and we got a market update for you guys. So as you guys already know, Bank of Canada did increase the interest rate by another 0.25, bringing the overnight lending rate to 5%. A lot of people were saying that it is going to go up. I was kind of on the side of saying it's not going to go up, but what do I know? It did go up, and guess what? The next one is going to be in September. So I think already a lot of people are kind of saying it's probably going to go up again. It's going to be hard to kind of decide on that because our inflation rate seems to be kind of going down. But we're going to have to find out in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks of what's going to actually happen with this. But overall right now, sitting kind of mid-July 2023, we have almost 16,000 listings available for sale right now. And what we've seen happen right now is that the sales have kind of slowed down compared to how they have been in the springtime. So as of right now, in Toronto Real Estate Board, we are tracking towards having around 5,900 sales for this month, which is actually a normal sales month. It seems like things are slow, but because they're not as crazy as they were in the spring, but it is a normal kind of summer month. We have a lot of inventory, and people are thinking that maybe it's because of the interest rate that has gone up that a lot of people have come off of the market, but for me, I don't really see that being the case. Right now, what we saw was a very strong spring market, and we had a couple of different buyers in that. And there was one group that I've talked about before that wasn't really supposed to be there that actually helped drive that spring market a lot more, which was the people that were kind of sitting on the side. So we had a whole group of people last year that ended up selling their properties, speculating that the prices are going to go down. And they continue to sit on the sideline up until around like the end of February going into March, and then they started to realize that the prices were actually going back up again, and they kind of jumped onto the bandwagon of buying as well. So we actually had a very strong spring market, and now that we are in the summer market, the sales aren't as strong, but they are normal sales that we're getting right now, and our inventory is at a higher level. This is creating a perfect opportunity for buyers to actually get out there in the marketplace right now. I don't think that you're going to get a tremendous discount on homes at this point right now. For the most part, the people that are out there, what I have seen is that they don't actually need to sell their property. So they do have holding power. We have a couple of listings out there as well. One of the listings, as an example, that we put out there, it's in Ajax. We listed the property at $999. It was a fair market value for that property, maybe a bit high on the higher side, a little bit. But we put it out at $999. We didn't get many showings on the property at all. But what ended up happening was one of the showings we had a really good offer that came in, and we ended up selling it at full price and with very little conditions at the same time. So right now in this market, I don't think that it's really a great idea to play up it like a very low to high kind of game, because it's not really working out so much. It might be in your best interest right now to just price it at market value and just kind of sit on it. In certain circumstances, we have kind of played around with it. Like we have another listing in Ajax where we did go in lower on the market. We had about 40 showings during the week, and we were able to kind of find out what was happening with that house and what the market was willing to pay for it. And we came up with a number that, because we had a multiple offer situation, that we kind of landed on that this house is worth this based on this, what the market told us. So we increased the price, and what we're using that experiment, I will call it, for is that now to go and shop for that buyer. This buyer is in a move up position. This buyer seller is in a move up position. So now that we know what we can kind of get for their house on the market right now, we're actually shopping for properties and going to use that number to basically figure out what they can buy and then turn around and sell their property. So right now, I don't think it's a good idea for you to just kind of randomly go out there, buy a property, and turn around and hope that you're going to get what you want. I think the better idea right now is to actually list the property on the market, either at a normal price and just kind of see what their traction is, what your feedback is, and then make a decision from there. Or maybe even still consider pricing it lower, knowing that it probably won't end up selling, but getting some feedback right away from the market. To get this feedback right away from the market, I like the idea because you're going to kind of find out sooner than later. If you just put it at a normal price, it might take you some time to get these showings in and try to figure out where you're going. But if you did price it a little bit lower, you kind of figure out really quickly like where the market is going to be, and it helps you make a decision faster on what you can actually end up doing. In this market right now, everything does kind of move slower. I actually like it because you're not in a rush and walking around a house in 15 minutes and deciding on buying a property or not. You have some time to think about it. And another great part about this is that now we can start to introduce conditions and offers as well. We could probably put in a condition of financing, we could do a condition of home inspection, and you have some breathing space to kind of get through these conditions at the same time and making sure that you really do like the house, that everything checks out nicely, and you're gonna have your financing in place. So I think it's a great market to work in right now, especially for buyers. What I do see happening in the fall is that I think that we will have a bit of a fall market. As I mentioned right now, we're around that 16,000 listings. I don't think that we're really gonna see it climb up much higher, but then again, I don't think it's gonna drop down dramatically right away either. I think we'll probably start to see the inventory taper down a little bit towards the end of August. And then what I think is gonna happen is we might see a bit of a lull in the market for the first 2 weeks of September. And I think the third week of September, that's really when our fall market will kind of start. So I think from the third week of September, all of October, and maybe the first into the second week of November, I think that's going to be our fall market. We will see sales pick up and probably inventory start to drop off at that point as well. After that point, I think we're going to probably start to see inventory pick up a little bit more and sales to slow down again. And then we'll probably be back, hopefully, in a normal spring market the following year in 2024. All of this is obviously contingent on what happens with the interest rates moving forward. So in August, there is no announcement from the Bank of Canada, but there will be in September. So we're all gonna have to kind of see what happens. And just talking about the interest rate increases, another thing I can tell you guys is that most of the buyer and sellers that we have in our system right now, everyone gets affected by interest rates, right? But the thing is that they're not really that affected by another quarter point or a half point. If they're gonna make a transaction, they're gonna make a transaction. Like we're in a situation with a buyer or a buyer and seller where they probably could have got like $1.1 million for their property and they're going to buy for $1.4 million. But guess what? Now we're probably going to get $1 million for their property, and instead of them having to pay 1.4 for that property is probably going to trade at $12.50. So they're probably going to get a little bit of a better deal. I mean, the numbers don't sound as appealing, but the deal overall in the net numbers is actually a very good deal. If you guys have any questions about what's going on in the market, my calendar link is going to be down below. I encourage you guys to click on it, set up an appointment with me. There's no obligation. I'd love to share some insight and answer your questions. And if you guys have enjoyed this content, like it, share it, make sure you subscribe because I think we have really awesome content and you don't want to miss any of it. Until next time, guys, remember one thing, get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.